I have been in ministry almost 20 years. So when David and I got married, David jumped right in.
I've been through a lot of ups and downs in my life, but for some strange reason, Satan thought he had me. But I'm still here. Yeah.
And I can remember the Saturday before the first Sunday that he was going to be with me in church as my husband. He said to me, we're in the backyard doing something, and he said to me, he said, he said, I think my job is to make sure you have everything that you need to do the work that God has called you to do. And it blew me away because I don't know a whole lot of men who would make that statement, but I am so grateful that I have one of them. And from that day to this, David has been a huge supporter of the work that I get to do in ministry. So I'm the senior pastor of Pathway to Life Center of Hope Church in Hutchins, Texas. And every morning, David has made sure that everything is ready for me when I show up. That is from making sure the place has been vacuumed, dust, the camera's ready, the lights are ready. And he is going to sit behind that camera and make sure that the best presentation of me is being put forth. But he's also over the facility maintenance. So we have 2 houses, a church, a multi-purpose building, and a little bit over 2 acres of vacant land. And David makes sure that the property is spick and span. People drive by and they will call me and they said, that property looks really good. I would say I got it easy. I really and truly have to say that David makes my life very easy. I mean, he is truly the person that tries to make sure that things are done and that they're done the way that I want them done when it relates to ministry. But he has a favorite response to me when I ask him for certain things, and his response is always, I'll get it done. Or he'll say, tell me what you want. And that makes life so easy. And if I get frustrated, sometimes I have so much on my shoulders, or I feel like I have a lot on my shoulders. And David can sense that. And he'll say, what can I do to help? What do you need? You need anything? He'll come by my office door and he'll stand there and he'll say, you need anything? And I believe that he has this sense of knowing when things are not going so well for me. And so when I think about the difficulties, it's hard for me to find something other than I told somebody the other day. I said the only thing that I can complain about is the fact that I have this old Tahoe that I have had for 15 years
15
maybe.
years.
And so David uses that vehicle for kind of all the junk that he needs to keep the facilities clean and all that. And so sometimes when I go to the Tahoe and it smells and it looks horrible, I go, can you keep this vehicle clean? And that's really my only complaint, if I had to find one, is that he does not keep my old vehicle clean. Now, mind you, it's 15 years old, but it's still something that I had before the marriage, and he uses it for all of his tools and that kind of thing. But it's it's a junk car. That's what it really is. And so that's my only complaint that I would say or make life difficult for me, which you can see that's really nothing. How about you, David? What makes life hard for you in terms of our marriage and the life that we have in ministry?
To me, there is none, because you've been exceptional to me. You've worked with me. You've taken care of me. So I don't have any regrets or the way that I'm going. You fill me up with everything that I need, and so that's how it is. And I love you.
And I love you too.
Thank you.
So I would say, for me, the greatest attribute that David has is that he is dependable. He's reliable. I can count on David. David doesn't let me down. You know, if I need something, or he knows what is needed for every given situation, he's going to make sure that those things are done. He's going to make sure that my needs are met to be able to do what God has called me to do, but also in our home. So when David and I got married, I was actually living on the ministry's campus. So I was living in Hutchins, and then David was living here. And I didn't necessarily want to move into the house where David had lived with his deceased wife. So what we tried living back and forth. So we would live in Hutchins on the weekends, and we would live here during the week. And eventually David said to me, he said, that makes no sense. That's such a waste of resources. And he said, you could rent this house and we could just live in the house where I've been for 20 something years. Well, that was a difficult decision for me because I don't know, I just didn't feel as comfortable about being in a house where he lived with his deceased wife. But eventually I wanted to make him happy, so I conceded and I lived here for 100% of the time. But what made it so comfortable for me was David allowed me to make this house my own. So I was able to redo the whole house to make it our house. And I didn't really want to move anymore because after David had the strokes, I wanted to make sure he was in an environment that he was comfortable in. And I knew that if we tried to build a house or find another house, that could be stressful for him. So I decided that for his sake and for the betterment of our marriage, that I would get comfortable in this home. And today I feel very comfortable in this home, but it is the home that David had before he married me. But it's my home today because I've had the liberty of making it that way.